Okay, when I was in Cleveland working the film festival, I tried to make this episode happen, and even got principal photography done. However, I couldn't finish making it because I was getting too busy with the festival, but also the footage is just ugly. I mean, just look at it. Growing up in the 90s... Oh! Honey, what were you thinking? Look at that terrible lighting. The dopey hair, half the face in the shadows. Why you thought you could get this done is beyond me. Which is why I'm doing an entire reshoot of the script, because you guys deserve quality, and I deserve to put my best foot forward. Last time we met, I was talking about the early works of Michael Crichton, an author I'm familiar with, but have read very little of. But that hasn't stopped me building a perception about him, since you would be hard-pressed not to have heard of the man growing up in the 90s. Seriously, the 90s was Crichton at his cultural peak. That perception of Crichton is, he likes to put messages in his books, which isn't surprising since pretty much any story by default has a message. But Crichton books, to my knowledge, always had something to tell the world cause he had some tea to spill, y'all. And what was Crichton's message? Well, for me, it boils down to one word. Don't. You want to create dinosaurs? Don't. You want to find mysterious diamonds in a lost city in the Congo? Don't. Time travel? Hold on. Hell don't! You think global warming is real? Yeah, if we ever get to state of fear, boy did time not age that well. But that's been my idea of Crichton's work. Don't do new or unknown science thing cause humans be too stupid to do it right. Which made reading his first book, Andromeda, unusual since there was no don'ts in it. No condemnation about the government trying to control something it doesn't understand. No word about how the scientists science. Really, the only thing Crichton did was show how some of the smartest people in the world can make stupid decisions cause they are still human. That changes with his second book, The Terminal Man. A 1972 science fiction tale, and is the first time we see Crichton tell science to just don't. And oh boy. Good morning, good evening, good wherever you may be. My name is David Popovich, aka the Bookworm, and welcome to my review and analysis of Michael Crichton's The Terminal Man, or... To start, I have a funny thing to say about this book. Its problems are the reverse of the Andromeda strain. Andromeda had a good premise, but little character to keep you invested, while The Terminal Man has the characters, but its story is... Well, I should say what the story is first. In a hospital in Los Angeles, Dr. John Ellis and Robert Morris of the Neuropsychiatric Service are waiting for their patient, Harry Benson, recently arrested after beating up 3 people nearly to death. Truly a man who strikes terror by the mere look of him. Benson was a meek, pudgy, 30-ish man with a bewildered air as he stood by the van with his wrists handcuffed in front of him. When he saw Morris, he said, "Hello," and then looked away, embarrassed. Don't let appearances fool you. That man is our villain. See, Benson was in a car crash a few years ago, and he now suffers from psychomotor epilepsy, which causes his body to have seizures, which causes his body to have seizures and become a complete madman, almost like a Jekyll and Hyde scenario. I saw the guy he beat up, one of the cops said. Big, strong guy, looked like a truck driver. You never think a little guy like that, he jerked his arm toward Benson's room, could do it. When he has seizures, he's violent. Which is why he's at the hospital. See, Ellis and Morris have been working on... Actually, to save some time, I'll let them explain. The NPS staff has developed a computer that will monitor electrical activity of the brain, and when it sees an attack starting, will transmit a shock to the correct brain area. This computer is about the size of a postage stamp and weighs 1/10 of an ounce. It will be implanted beneath the skin of the patient's neck. This is the first time any such operation has been done on a human after years testing on monkeys. Of course, there are some concerns that Benson is too crazy for such an operation. Mainly because he is convinced that machines are conspiring to take over the world. $50 says that won't come to bite anyone in the ass. But Ellis believes, what happens if we don't operate on him? We know that his seizures are life-threatening to himself, to others. His seizures have already gotten him into trouble with the law, and his seizures are getting worse. The operation will prevent seizures, and we think that is an important benefit to the patient. They do it, and everything seems fine till, he escaped! And he's crazier than ever! Who could have seen that coming from a Crichton novel? Do you take credit? On the loose, it's up to the doctors to get Benson back to save him, their careers, and the city of angels. Let's break this down to its ingredients. The book has a relatively strong beginning. The characters are introduced well, the situation is set up, and we get a good idea what could be at stake if things go wrong, and they always go wrong. It carries a nice pace, if a little slow till the halfway point when Benson escapes. But as the book went on, you started to see the cracks that kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger till the book ended on a sour note that left me confused and disappointed. The best way I want to explain this is take Crichton's big idea and how it breaks down as you peel it back piece by piece. As I said, my view on Crichton's work is he likes to tell people to just don't. So what is that don't? It's don't put mind control devices in crazy people's heads. Just don't. This confuses me. Like, this is your main message? Mind control. Really? I guess so, since the wiki page, the book's own introduction, and a whole scene talking about it must mean it's all about mind control. But I never got that message. The book seemed to be more concerned with the way technology has weeded into our lives. The book can't stop talking about how new technology we once thought of as great has become a burden to our lives. The box was inhuman and implacable, and it had come to symbolize for him the fact that he was not his own man. He was perpetually on call to some higher authority. He's talking about a pager. Do any of you even know what a pager is? But the centerpiece of this message is the small computer shocking Benson's mind. So that's gotta be the mind control, which I might have agreed if Benson was a sane man. See, the only reason they do this surgery on him is because he's the kind of subject that would require such a procedure. The book even shows that when another man comes in asking if he can get the same thing so he can basically have constant pleasure shocked into him, which they say no. The tech isn't being used for evil, malicious, or bad reasons. It's an experiment they've been working on for years, and Benson happened to be the best subject at the time. It's not their fault he turned out to be an Alex Jones type who's afraid that Skynet will take over the world. That's just bad luck.
What do you expect, Mother? I'm half machine. I'm a monster!
Hell, there's a scene where Benson makes a point about how a computer can be used for almost anything compared to other machines. But where that scene explains how powerful a computer can be, the computer in Benson is not. It's specifically programmed to send shocks to the brain to counter his seizures, and it never fails. At all. It does what it's programmed to do. It's really Benson's brain that gets addicted to the shocks and involuntarily causes more seizures to get another contact high, speeding up the process. And if you really peel back, the main reason anything happens in the second half is because a nurse can't read a signature to give Benson tranquilizers, which if he did would have given the doctors time to see what was happening and address the issue. The tech is not the enemy here, just a sick man's brain and stupid people being stupid. But if you wanted to be all about mind control, girl, no. So I bet you think we are done here. Oh no. This rabbit hole is about to get deeper, cause... oh Lord. Where do I begin? Well, did you know I'd gone this far without even talking about the main character? What? You thought it were those doctors? I wouldn't blame you. Ellis and Morse are the first ones we follow, but the book decides to play hot potato when psychiatrist Janet Ross enters, a woman doctor lady, and the book makes sure you know. It annoyed her that she should be the only woman, and it annoyed her that the men should become quieter, more polite, less jovial and ruckus. She didn't give a damn if they were ruckus, and she resented being made to feel like an intruder. So the book sets up 3 main characters, but it's only when you get to the end do you see whom Crichton cares to feature the most. Even though Ellis performs the surgery, he's pushed to the background with the only idea being he will be fired after all this is over. Morris gets more to do, but encounters Benson, which is actually a pretty pointless scene, but he bashes his lower jaw, knocking him out, leaving Ross the only character of the 3 to have doubts about this whole thing, and this book. So I had to explain all that because after Benson escapes, everybody is looking for him, leading to a scene between him and Ross where he explains that something big is about to happen. Something big that we cannot turn back from. Something really big and really bad, you guys. It's gonna be big. Huge. Something that will take a city like Los Angeles, a city more technology dependent than any in the world. So you would think Benson is going to do something crazy and blow up LA or somehow turn tech on everyone or just something with how the book hypes it up. But that's not what happens. What really happens is he goes back to the hospital to destroy its big computer, then Ross shoots him dead. She cries over the life she couldn't save, and the end.
What the hell was that?
This book had a good start, but it has no idea what it's even talking about. The ending by itself cuts so abruptly and pays off so little with what it was hyping up that you can't help but feel Crichton didn't know what he even wanted to say. He seems to have gotten the whole idea when he saw a patient with a similar setup and it frightened him. It says so on his website. So he writes a book to inform the public and creates a worst case scenario about a technology that, as far as I've seen, is still being used to this day. No, really. Look up neurostimulation. I'll admit I didn't find much, but I didn't see anything bad about it. Which, girl, please tell me you didn't write a reactionary book because you got a little scared. Your mind control theme is weak. Benson's final plan, while it does make sense, doesn't live up to the hype, and your character arcs feel unfinished due to an abrupt end. And believe it or not, Crichton kind of agrees. There's this Oprah online interview in '97 you can only find on the Wayback Machine talking about his overall career, but when asked about the Terminal Man, I worked on it for 9 drafts and never felt I got it quite right. I don't to this day know what I would do differently or what I should have done. I just feel there was some opportunity to use a real technology in a fictional way that eluded me. Reading that is extremely telling, even more so with a movie coming out that's a better version of this story.
What if I told you I could offer you something that would enable you to walk again? That has the potential to change everything.
I need your permission to operate independently.
Permission granted!
Thank you.
Really, the book feels like Crichton was mixing whatever ingredients he had in his head, mixed it all together, and settled with what came out, and it only leaves you with a stale taste. Let's finish this. At best, The Terminal Man is underwhelming. It's a story out of its time. Could you imagine what Crichton could have done with this story in our social media age? An age built around machines and algorithms telling us what to watch or see? How our very livelihoods can be boiled down to simple things like, share, subscribe. 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 Like, share, and subscribe. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope I didn't scare everybody off with that last segment. So, those were my thoughts on The Terminal Man, but What are yours? Did you like it or hate it? Did I completely miss the point? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos. Next time though, we will be wrapping up our look at Michael Crichton with, of all things, trains. Till next time, fellow bookworms, have a nice day.